In Ghana, more than half of the population, an estimated 14 million people, are females. But gender inequality remains a big problem, and women are hugely underrepresented in leadership positions in the country. A lot of females are unable to reach their full potentials because of various challenges that militate against their effective development, including child marriage, forced marriage, exchange marriage, teenage pregnancy, sexual exploitation, rape and defilement, among others.
Forced marriage and exchange too is just quite the same. Like if you give birth 2 children or 4 children, 4 boys, 4 girls, that means the boys will use the girls to exchange. If the boys grown and they go and friend a girl, maybe that the owner of the girls will also say, "Do you have a girl to give to my son?" And you say yes. Then you go on, you marry yours, and you also come and marry his. Even if you send him to school safe, you just go and remove him from school by force.
Child marriage is a serious issue in Ghana. It used to be the problem of only the 3 northern region, but now we cannot continue to say that child marriage only exists in the 3 northern region. Recent statistics have shown that there has been an increase in child marriage in eastern, increase in child marriage in central, and as well as western region. In Ghana here, statistics shows that 1 in 4 women marry before the age of 18 years. So it is a national issue that has to be addressed.
The olden days, like if you give birth to a baby girl, your uncle or your sister will come and say, "This is my child wife." And then he will find something to give, like give you some few amount, or he go and cut a stick, come and give to you to put inside the fire to bath the girl. That means that's the wife, the girl belongs to his wife, his son. So 3 years later, they will come and farm. Every 3 years, they will come and farm. Every 3 years, they will come and farm till the child grown, matured. And then once he grown, they will just give the girl to the husband. But then at that time, the girl too has eyes open. He now want to marry different. He don't like such a man, and there will be confusion.
Child marriage is defined as marriage before the age of 18. It's a criminal act and an abuse of a victim's human rights. According to the United Nations Children and Education Fund, 27% of all females in Ghana are married before the age of 18. That's about 1 in every 4 women. Worryingly, the situation is on the rise. Child marriage increased nationwide from 25.9% in 2006 to 27% in 2011. A lot of these child marriage incidents are the result of forced and exchange marriages. These statistics are not just figures. There are real faces behind the statistics. At Zameshegu in the Gushegu district, some 2 hours drive from a northern regional capital, Tamale, lives 23-year-old Dinah Jinayele. One warm afternoon 8 years ago, when she was only 15 years old in class 3, a bunch of young men from nearby Sannoga community raided her school, kidnapped her and took her to the home of her supposed husband.
What she's saying is that once she was coming from the house, she just came and met the uncle with a brother called Komna. So they came and met her here. She greeted them. So they just held their hand, and their uncle was running with her. So that guy was also fighting with the parent. They put her on a bicycle, and both of them went.
Dinah was a victim of forced and exchanged marriage. She explains the justification her grandfather gave for forcing her out of school to go marry a man she had never known.
When they sent her to the village, that village, so the grandfather, they sent her to the mother's father. The man is no more. So when they sent her, the man was insulting her. We say we should come and we'll exchange you and a wife for your uncle, and you say you won't come. So you don't want your uncles to get a wife. So you want your uncles to be like that. And your father is having my daughter without exchanging. Now you are to replace your mother, and you don't want to do that. So we are going to replace you.
Stephen Nabila is the father of Dinah. He says he was never in support of the action of his in-laws. But tradition allows for this, and so he didn't have a choice.
He
says, according to their tradition, the Kunkumba tradition, when you are a young man growing up, whether you have a wife already or you don't have, and you are targeting to get a wife from a particular family. So as the child is growing up, you will be farming small for the family to use that produce to look after the child as she grows. When she is nearing maturity, then she will now move to your house. That is you, the man, you will determine when they should bring the daughter to your house. So that is their tradition.
Child marriage denies girls their childhood, disrupts their education, and limits their ability to participate in economic and social spheres. Dinah knows this story too well. Her education was cut short. She has never been able to recover from the trauma of that experience, and today she is an unemployed mother of 3, while her colleagues have made a better future ahead of them. Nabila Kwame Anas is a brother of Dinah. He says the experience has severely affected his sister's social life.
Anytime she's sitting, she remember about that. So, and I know that the thing was not happy to her. The life was, it has changed. Because they beat her, and then I thought they forced her to sexual descent.
Thousands of other young people suffer such exchange marriages, where men marrying in specific families are required to produce their sisters in exchange. Others also suffer from forced marriages, where they are made to marry people they do not know without their consent. Nabila believes the practice is evil and must be stopped.
It's bad because it can affect a girl to die. Even a man too, it can cause you to die. When they force a lady to you, you don't like him. Maybe you will not sleep with her, your mind will not be here. So it's not good for that.
But not all the youth agree with him, including Apo Isaiah. He believes being in a poor community without such practices, most men will be left without wives.
Exchange marriage and forced marriage is good for this community. Because the reason why I say that it's good for this community is that some people are there. The time that you grow, maybe your house, you are poor, no rich man. So you have to suffer and get the money. And for our local, if you are going to marry without no money, you can't marry. So you have to use your sister and exchange the distant wife. If you don't do that, how to get a wife? It will be difficult for you. And some people are there, the time that will grow, maybe your father already passed on. So you and your mother and your sister, if you don't change that, you will not get a wife. You have to use your sister and change because no land to farm. And if you no get the decision, you can't get the money to marry again. So you have to use your sister to change her and get wife. Because on that I said that exchange marriage and forced marriage is good for us.
Girls who marry before 18 years are at higher risk of social isolation and partners' violence than women who marry later. In Dinah's case, the man involved was summoned to the chief's palace and fined. Opinion leader Al-Hassan Nindo says they no longer tolerate such practices.
It's because of that our girls doesn't complete schools. So now we see that it's not good. So we don't accept it in chief palace here. When they do that, we come and say no. Leave the girl to go to school.
Despite the stance of traditional leaders here at Zameshogu, the practice has continued. 18-year-old hairdresser Napo Ekiasara was betrothed to a man at birth. 2 years ago, the expected husband and his family came in and took her away at night while she was asleep. She was pulled along, causing her a leg injury.
So she was not even aware that something will happen like the way they came. So she was just sleeping and they came. You know, as a parent, if the parent agree, even the noise you do, no one will mind you. So they came in support of the family and they took her away.
The girl was schooling JHS1. Gave hand in marriage to a 65-year-old man in Mali. So they took the girl away. And what happened was that whenever the man wants to have an affair with the child, she cries a lot. And the other wives will tell the husband, oh, she's a child, you wait, with time it will be okay. So one day the girl left the house, ran away to a Rastafarian and narrated her ordeal. And the Rastafarian kept her for some time, looking for money to be given to her to come back to Ghana. At that time, the news got to the father of the girl. So the father went there, and that very day that the father went there, because they were searching for the girl in the vicinity, they know she's a stranger, she can't go far. They saw the girl in the Rastafarian's house, brought her back. So the father brought a child to Ghana to talk to, sort of, more advice. It was when the classmates saw her and she told them, yes, this is what I went through. I wasn't at school because of this. And the classmates came to the DOFS unit and reported. So we went in and told the father that per the laws of Ghana, a child is not supposed to get married at that age. So it's not permissible. So the child is not going back to Mali. So the child, because she's feeling shy, has stopped going to school but is learning a trade in Ghana, in Koforidua, in Beto, and the child is there. So the DOFS intervention is to stop that marriage, to stop the child going back to Mali to continue that unholy relationship.
Child marriage is more common in rural areas than in urban Ghana. It is also more common in the northern part of the country, a situation stakeholders find worrying. Adam Bani is an officer with the Northern Region Office of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ.
The Constitution of Ghana and the Children's Act and other laws in Ghana frown against forcing a child into marriage. So it's criminal. The other aspect is that if you force a child into marriage, let's take for example again the child that I mentioned, 14 years. She gets into the man's house and the man has carnal knowledge of the girl. It becomes defilement, and that's a punishable offense under the laws of Ghana. Aside that, you're marrying somebody the laws of Ghana says no. That person is not yet up to the age of marriage, and you have married the person. The Children's Act makes provision for contravention. You can equally be imprisoned for up to 3 years. for those acts. So the laws of the country makes provision for each offense.
The Upper West region has the second highest child marriage rates in Ghana. That is, with 36.3% of girls being victims. We visit the Sisala East District to assess the situation.
In Tumu here, we don't have much cases because the people here are enlightened, and we have Plan Ghana, Action Aid, and they are sensitizing the people, and they are also doing the advocacy. But outskirts, the hinterlands, the women, they are not more because of the movement of the young girls to the south. So men are forced to, when they see young ladies, then they pick them. So that makes outside the sexual offenses high.
He says it's always been a challenge getting cases prosecuted successfully because families tend to cover up such cases.
See, the challenge is that the perpetrators, anytime we are able to rescue the family members, they don't give that person out. You can be able to rescue the child, but the actual assailant will run away. And so we will tell the stakeholders and all the elders in the family that when it happens like that, they should assist the police.
Moses Dramani Luri is founder of local NGO SILDEP. He says the problem is cultural.
According to the tradition of the Sisala people, you can even betroth or marry a child whilst the mother is still pregnant. Once you see a pregnant woman, you can drop some cowries and says in case he delivers and the lady is a girl, that will be my wife. If he is a boy, that will be my friend. That's the tradition. But modernity has come up, and of late, those things have become criminal issues in the country. And so that is what makes it challenging to me and my other colleagues that are advocating for child rights, early marriages, which is non-existent according to tradition, elopements and those things. That has been part and parcel of the culture. It is on record that Muhammad got married. He married a lady at the age of 7. Again, when you go to Christianity, they say Mary was pregnant at the age of 14. So both Christian religion, Islamic religion, and traditional religion, which are mainly the dominant religions of the culture, don't see anything wrong with these things that we, the human rights activists, the child rights activists, the girl child activists are seeing something wrong with it.
In the Sisala area, traditional leaders have announced a ban on child marriages.
Well, if a girl is not up to 18 years and you take her for marriage, it is a crime against the laws of Ghana. If a girl is impregnated, the man will pay a fine to the community for community development. The man will also pay a fine for the parents of the girl. Then, if the landlord of the boy's parents are there, they will also pay a fine for watching over a teenage girl that has been, because most of the pregnancies take place in the man's house.
There is a fine for traditional leaders in whose jurisdictions such incidents of child marriage occurs.
If a traditional leader has knowledge of a girl being impregnated in his community, and you don't report the matter to the police, that one I know that we have fixed 1,000 cedis as punishment.
Already children are not that grown to be in marriage, and so therefore the repercussions of children, especially if they are in school and they leave school to go and marry, it tells you that their education is being truncated. And beyond the economic empowerment they would have had if they were to stay and complete school, there's another impact on their health, because as children they are not that grown to be able to carry pregnancy, to be able to take care of, you know, their children properly. And so therefore, if we look at the fact that their education is going to be stopped, it has a very greater impact on our lives, you know, and especially in northern region, where if you look at the Ghana Statistical Survey, they say that out of every 10, you have 7 who are poor, you know. And so if we continue having our girls drop out of school to be in marriage, then the situation is even going to worsen. Beyond that also, there's issues about emotional and trauma. Trauma because as she's not grown and she's in marriage, she thinks about other things that her childhood or as a child she would have enjoyed, and she's not enjoying it, but she's in marriage.
The Girls Advocacy Alliance, an initiative funded by the Dutch Foreign Affairs Ministry, is working to better the lives of women and girls and ensure the provision of equal opportunities for them. The initiative being implemented through Plan International Ghana, Defense for Children International Ghana, and Ghana NGO Coalition on the Rights of the Child undertake advocacy for the empowerment of women through technical and vocational education, so they do not become victims of such human rights abuse.
So far, so good. The project started about 2-3 years ago, and there has been extensive stakeholder engagement at all levels, governmental, non-governmental, community level, and at the level of the girls themselves. And the response has been overwhelming. So we believe that by the end of the project, we expect to see a lot of changes, particularly change in mindsets, you know, of all stakeholders. The girls will know that they have the potential to really make a difference.
Netherlands Ambassador to Ghana, Ron Stryker, says the girl child deserves special attention and everyone has a responsibility to ensure their rights are not abused.
Respect for human rights, equality, that sort of empowerment is important for economic development. And within that, and now I come to the specific items, of course, and issues, the child marriage, the forced marriage, the exchange marriage, of course, violence against girls, and the commercial sexual exploitation are all issues in society, not only here in Ghana, but of course in many other countries, which are things that societies and I think we at large try to get rid from and they're rid of, and therefore we are supporting efforts of the Ghanaian society and the Ghanaian people to do that.
Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Otiko Afisa Jaba.
If you think that it's an honor to give your child out, Ghana's law says it is not an honor. And anybody who is found guilty of giving their children out into marriage have to face the law of 1 year's imprisonment, of a fine of 500 Ghana cedis, or both, we're going to review that law because some people think that it's too weak. We need to strengthen it. But largely, we have to do more advocacy, especially in the northern region, Upper East and the Upper West, for people to understand that it is against the law and that it is not acceptable. Childhood should be happy. During school hours, every child of Ghana must be in school. And I'm very particular about that because it is the key to getting us out of poverty. Any cultural or traditional practice that is harmful, injurious, and dangerous to the development of the person must stop.
Anna Nabiri is convinced increased access to technical and vocational education can turn the situation around.
We can link the causes of gender-based violence to poverty. They are not self-sustaining. They do not have the skills. So if these girls are given the needed skills, I am sure they'll be able to engage in some income generating ventures that will help them to be self-sustaining. And when they are self-sustaining, they will be able to resist some of the pressures that come from parents and colleagues to get themselves involved in some of these abuses.
Sarah Owo is a JHS graduate who has not been able to continue her education because of financial constraints. She went for vocational training to be a dressmaker. She says her commitment to the task at hand has helped her steer clear of being abused sexually.
Advice I made the mommy no nkuma obi a fine and fine share with me say wunni obi enti no I say with me make effort because I know say we ye bibia na obi nso ye den eboa say what if na say won so odon sa share with them say wunya hwede a which means unni mbia nti I say me nua no ketua no say bi kura o ma me ni bia enye say bia me ma me ni bi ntino me de me ho koma be ma anase me ko ebe me ma se